give us a little rundown, pretty much about yourself.
All right, so was born Orange County, but I moved to Idaho when I was like 2 years old. So pretty much lived out here my whole life. Always been a fan of hip hop music since I was like 7, 8 years old. I was writing raps when I was like 7, 8 years old, and just trying to make music from there. And didn't really start super serious till about high school when a bunch of friends heard me freestyling over I think it was that Drake Rihanna track, that work track. I started joking over that freestyle, and people like, you should try this seriously. So made music throughout high school for a few years. Didn't have the best equipment or setup. I was kind of recording off like one of those video game mics that sounds terrible. So
Yeah.
I switched over to battle rap in July of 2020, and best decision I've ever made, taking me so many different places, honestly.
Word. So what made you get into hip hop rap?
It's just the performative element of it, like the energy that the culture has, regardless of like the environment it tries to create. Like there's a bunch of different formats. There's your conscious hip hop, your trap, your gangster drill, your basic club party hits. You got every spectrum of any type of conversation could be had through hip hop, and that was just so fascinating to me, how one big genre can have such a heavy sub branch and still have such a vast culture to it. And I've always found myself as a bit of a performer. I did shows in like high school and stuff, so I've always been on that performance side of it. So it just felt like I could write, I like hip hop, and it all kind of blended perfectly.
Do you remember your first round?
Oh God, it was a song that I wrote when I was like 7. It was the most like, I will not lie to you, it was the most like first grade level, like simple one syllable rhyme words humanly possible that my uncle threw like a garage band instrumental over it when I was a kid. I just remember sitting there when my uncle said it, like I was like, oh no, this is actually kind of cool. And then I found it 3 years later. I was like, what the fuck was I? I was a kid. I was like literally 7. What was I writing? And then sadly, that has been lost to time, though.
All right. So around what age you start like taking it seriously?
16. 16 was when I started, at least music seriously, was 16.
So you started recording at 16?
Yeah, I started like, I had the Free Fruity Loop Studio. I had like, I got instrumentals off YouTube, like those free for-profit instrumentals, and I had I think it's somewhere in my drawer actually. Yeah, here, a super cheap like PlayStation $20 mic when I first started. I was in high school. I was like, I'm just trying to get my feet on the, or what's the term I'm looking for? Get my feet wet, like dive in.
What was the name of your first song you recorded?
I think the first song was called "Wanna Make It Big."
Want to make it big?
Yeah, that was the first song I remember for sure recording. Yeah.
What was the traction did you get from it?
I think it hit about 900 views on YouTube, 950, somewhere in that ballpark, before I took it down, because I give battle rappers way too many easy angles as is. Why throw them the cringe music from high school?
So have you did any like talent shows or any performances?
Oh yeah.
Besides battle rap?
Especially in high school, I performed at every pet rally, every school assembly, holiday assembly, and my school was big. Like I'm talking like 1,400 to 1,500 kids. I was in a relatively large high school out here, so it was always a relatively packed auditorium. I did a talent show as well, and I actually did a couple different talent shows because there was one in Nampa, a little bit out the way, but that was about 900 people there, so add a little bit of performance, but other than battling, not too much.
What's the name of the high school you went to?
Middleton. It's middle of nowhere, like outskirts of Idaho.
So what was it like growing up in Caldwell?
Honestly, run of the mill. I live in a very kind of, like I said, I live in the boonies, so there's not very many neighbors near me. We don't live close to people too often. Grew up in a dual working income household. Both parents worked to provide for us, give us the best opportunities we could. So I liked my childhood. I had a really blessed childhood.
So being in an environment like that where everybody's like so spread it out, were you like the only MC in the area?
I still kind of am, but yeah, like I was the only MC in my neighborhood when I first started, and then like a lot of people in high school tried to follow after me, which was rather funny. And then I still feel like hip hop for not even just for neighborhood of Caldwell or city of Nampa or wherever, for the entire state of Idaho, I feel like the hip hop subculture is nowhere near as large as other surrounding states like California, Washington, New Mexico, Arizona. There's a lot less talent and a lot less people who are interested in the hip hop subculture compared to like we got a lot of punk rock bands out here. We got a lot of country artists out here. There's not really that many people other than a few like some of my battle or some of the people like I started battling with. Shout out the homies AQ, Marks, Charlie Aztec, Enzo the Last, the Chef. Some of the few people who still kind of keep the sport active out here in the 208.
So I seen it through your clips where y'all was battling over the beats. Can you tell me about that league?
Yeah, that's Verbal War Zone. It's the I would like to say it's the biggest on instrumental battle rap league in the United States. They've had talents such as Sirius Jones, Prestavia, Dre Dennis, Bill Collector on a few of their recent cards. So I actually heard through them through one of my first online battles. I did an online battle against Yoshi G through Instagram Battle League. She reposted the clip on her page, and then Verbal got in tune with me through that clip. So I like they reached out, wanted me for their new developing card Sniper Division, and I said absolutely, that's a huge opportunity for me. Better opportunity to practice on wax, get my because I hadn't rapped on instrumentals like since I started battle rapping. So it was like a good year and a half since I actually rapped on beat, which was a really unique
So
challenge for me. And
so when you started battle rap,
I started officially in May of 2020 on Instagram Battle League, back when Hollow to Dawn ran it.
do you remember your first battle?
I was supposed to battle a guy, or he sent me the wrong page. At first, he sent me one of Chess's like Cake Life homies who had one battle. I dropped a round on him, and then he said, "Oh no, wait, never mind, that was the wrong person." So he sent me over a guy named I think it was El Chapo or El Chapo Guapo or some Chapo Sosa, I think.
Chopper Sosa, where he was from? You
Yeah,
remember?
he was from I think he was from Brooklyn. I think New York to some extent. I remember he was part of the iBattle class for a very brief time in like late 2021, early 2022. That's all I briefly remember from it.
So how did that battle go about? How did that hookup was made?
So the whole league started because of Hollow to Dawn. He was getting it was during like the height of COVID pandemic, and he was doing these things called fan killers, where he would like have people drop comments and he would start dissing on them. Apparently, he had so many people ask like, "Yo, can we do a back and forth exchange?" That league started, and he set up me with Chapo Sosa or Chapo Sosa. Yeah, that's
Okay, so what was your preparation like for that battle? Your very first battle?
honestly. I think in entirety, I recorded that round in about 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. I did some research on some old clips, and I was like, throw this together, throw this together, throw this together. Took me like 2, 3 takes, because with video battling, I was just kind of concerned with like, okay, I gotta get this out. I gotta make sure this material is quick, solid. Move on to the next round of the tournament. This, that, and the third.
Okay, how you think you did? Who you think won?
I feel like I won. Like it was a debatable, but I feel like I took. I feel like he was a little bit more generic because he lost. He lost the fan vote by like a decent margin, and he blamed it. He was like, "You were telling people to vote for you." I'm like, "Well, no shit. That's what you do. You promote. You tell
That's
people
right.
to go in the comments. You tell people to support." He got so mad he dropped a diss on the whole league after he got voted out. Like,
Wow.
so I feel like I took it, but nah, that's debate.
Loser. A loser. A sore loser.
Very, but you know, I mean, people aren't always professional in this sport.
Yeah, that's true. So where was that battle held at? Did you have to go to Brooklyn or what?
No, that
Oh,
was
that's
that
just
was on
online.
Instagram. That was
Online,
online.
okay. Okay. So how long you did the online battle? And how many online battles did you have?
I've been on and off with online battling since I started 4 years ago, and I'm at over. I know it's over 100. If we're including Twitter, video, and audio, it's got to be easily in the 110s, 115s.
100 battles online?
Yeah, I was doing an online battle like week after week. I always had a new
Get the
card lined
fuck
up.
out of here.
No, that's serious. I swear. You can
Yeah,
look at my track.
so how you prepare for that though? All them many battles and battling back to back like that. How was you mentally preparing yourself for this type of challenge?
I had a great job, honestly, where I had a little bit of like free time in between tasks that I was able to do. So any free time that I could get, I would be like, all right, I've got to research this clip here. And then I would just go home and I would just crank out like 4 or 5 different rounds and I'd send them to the league owners. And the funniest shit is I'd always be one of the first to submit. They'd be like, you were like the first guy to send in this round. I'm like, these guys all have full-time jobs, and yet I also have a full-time job, but I'm still like, how? Like, this makes no sense. Like, we're not even rapping that long. It was like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes for one round. And I'm still somehow like the first person on that, like submitted.
So out of those 100 battles, what would be your most memorable battle that you can call off top?
Biggest, I mean, memorable. I'd want to say my most memorable was probably the one I did with NASA McMahon for UBL Online.
Where he's from?
He's from West Memphis, Arkansas. He had a league out there called Legends of Champion Culture. He battled Geechee Gotti at one time, Danny Myers. I think he's one of the best talent out in that West Memphis region.
Oh yeah, Danny Meyer. I like you got it too. I like both of those guys. Yeah, good.
No, they
So
fire for sure.
what was next? What was next?
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit there. What was that?
I said, done with the online battle. What was the next step after that?
Next step after online was jumping into the live culture with the one league that existed at the time prior, which was the Eastern Oregon Battle Coalition. It's in a small town in Oregon called Ontario, which is about 35 minutes from where I live. That's where I met Charlie Aztec. And he originally set me up with a guy named Intellect. I was supposed to debut on February, on like leap year February 2020.
Yeah. So you say you got hooked up over there, and what was
Yeah,
your first battle over there? Once you got over there,
it was a guy named Rambo. He was one of the newer talents. They thought it would be a perfect first battle to just kind of set the tone for both him and I. And I made my debut, official live debut, July 25th of 2020.
and where he was from?
He was from Ontario. He lived out there, like I said, like 35 minute drives tops from where I'm at
Oh,
to where they are.
okay. So what was your mindset going into that first battle? Your very first live battle?
Nerves were high. I'll be entirely honest. Nerves were definitely high. I was I had a few online battles under my belt at the time, so I was like, all right, just think of it as an online battle, the same concept in front of other people. So I just kept the same preparation. I started implementing something that I still use to this very day, running my rounds 3 times a day. I ran my rounds 3 times, like first thing I got up, middle of the day when I went to bed. And that was like, or in between lunch breaks at like work, I would just run my material religiously. And that was what I felt like helped a lot, especially prepping for that first battle.
So what was your first battle a one rounder or what?
No, it was 3 rounds, 2 minutes. That was time limits.
How you think you do? Who got that one?
I feel like I got that one. Most comments lean towards my favor. A lot of the breakdowns lean towards my favor. I don't feel like Rambo was necessarily. Uh, I feel like his runs were rather generic, like very surface level stuff. Where I feel like I was punching a little bit more out the box, but outside of the box because I was a little newer. I was trying to still figure out a lot of the formula, which made a lot more of my punches stand out. I mean, some of them fell a little bit flat, but I feel like I stood out a lot more compared to him, where I felt like he was very surface level ish, if that makes sense.
So now, being that was your first battle, uh, once you started battling live, who would you think was one of your toughest battles ever?
There was a guy in Canada when I battled for Capital Rap Battles out in Ottawa. His name was Trippy Hippie, and he is, if not next in line for the league champion, he is definitely in that top 5 discussion for contenders. Bro is one of the most crazy pens, highest energies that I think I have ever seen out in the Canadian scene, without a doubt. One of the hardest battles I've ever wrote for.
That was a 3 rounder or one rounder?
3 rounder, yeah.
How you think you went on that? Was it debatable or you think you lost? What?
I feel like it was debatable because I say he took the first relatively clear. He had the better energy. The punches were better. He had the first clear. I feel like I took the third clear because he lost a lot of momentum in his third round. And I feel like the second is where you kind of get up for debate because you can kind of say, if you liked his approach better and you felt like his nerdy breakdowns were a little more well suited for you, then you could take him on that second. Or if you prefer the more direct approach that I had where I broke down some of his career, I feel like you can say I took the step. Overall, it was a Battle of the Year nomination for the league. So we put on for the for Ottawa, that's for sure.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's real dope. So, what would you say your worst battle ever? Where you
Probably
feel
my
like you
battle.
could have did more? Where you feel like you could have did more?
I want to say my worst battle was probably my battle with a dude named Spasmatic from Washington. I feel like I was going for the much more technical writing approach when I should have realized I should have been going for the much more punch heavy approach. And I also feel like I gave him a lot of like accidental reaction power because I kept I like whenever I actually heard a line that I thought I was nice, I gave him a thumbs up, which I realized I did way more than I should have. So I feel like that was another big flaw of mine from that battle, and I've learned from that mistake since then. But yeah, without a doubt, I'd say it's actually not without a doubt. The Salem Hush battle I did in Washington was pretty bad. The crowd was just atrocious for that building. Like if I could send you the video, I'll send you the video after this. You can barely hear my round with how loud the background noise in the bar is. And then, of course, I was battling the league owner. So during his round, silence.
Oh man, I don't tell me they did you like that, man. So you went out there, right?
Yeah.
So they booked you to come out there, or was it
No, he booked me to come
just
out
an
there. I met.
opportunity to come out?
No, he booked me. He was a good friend he got me my second battle. My first time I ever traveled out of the state of Idaho, I went to battle on his league, Cascadia Battle Circuit out in Washington. And he kept booking me for place after that. He said, yo, we need to run it. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's kind of how that happened.
Okay, dope. So how many battles you had over there in Washington?
3.
What was your top battle?
If we're talking a body bag, my top battle was a guy named El Weezy. If we're talking a good competitive battle, my top battle was a guy named T, who now goes by Tintin.
Okay, yeah, I like that, man. So your first time in Trent, man. Let's talk about your experience. First time in Trent. What you think about Trent? What you think about the rap scene, the battle rap scene here, and Trent, and also what you think about your opponent of that night, Gambit.
I really enjoyed the Trent environment as a whole. It was a really welcoming culture, a lot of super nice people, really chill environment. A lot of the battles held up to the expectations that I had. There was only really one battle that I felt like fell flat, but I mean, not you can't have a card of like 5 battles and expect every single one to be A1 on point. Uh, Gambit, I respect Gambit because it took us a few different people for me to get to Gambit when I talked to Poe, because at first he wanted me to battle Savage, and I didn't feel good battling him because he ducked me on Twitter. So I was like, okay, if he's gonna duck me online, what better excuse does he have to not show up for the live battle?
Oh, he ducked you.
Then
Oh, we'll get back to that. Go ahead. We'll get
yeah,
back to that.
so then they threw me a name from Louisiana. His name was Lil K. Now I'm going to preface this. I am not one who usually avoids battles or turns names down. I'll go through whatever. I'll battle whoever. I'll try to like smoke whoever. But when I tell you this man was ass, he is
What's
one
his
of the
name again?
worst. Lil K, Lilk. He's out in Louisiana. He's one of the worst. Like he's an internet like battle meme through Louisiana. I'll have to send you one of his battles. He is not great. I feel like there's also some other stuff that goes on with his personal life that might lead to that, but overall, I just feel like his performance is not good. So I told Poe, I'm like, I can't, within good interest, take that battle. And then Gambit was the name that came up after him. And I watched a few of Gambit's old battles, and I said, okay, he's fire, so let's take this one.
That
Uh,
that that that, that was a risk taker right there. That was a
the
major risk taker right there. And like I said, you shocked the hell out of me, man.
I appreciate that, bro. Salute. He shocked the hell out of me though, like
Oh,
because Gambit, I knew he was inactive. Like he hadn't battled in a few years, other than that one joint he took over against.
a game, man.
Yeah,
Big U said he coming to Idaho, man.
I bet, bro. Let me know.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
yeah,
all I
go
gotta do.
ahead,
Let me
continue.
know. Like Gambit shocked the hell out of me though. Like he basically took 3 years or somewhat of a break, as far as I was aware. Came back and had an absolutely stellar performance. No major stumbles, slips. I mean, he did try to freestyle a little bit at the beginning, but he did well with that. And I feel like we had a really big classic for Only the Real. And I give nothing but my props and respect to Gambit and hope to see him outside a lot more and getting some opportunities moving forward.
Yeah, yo, man, that was a fucking crazy fucking battle, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, besides what Val did, I think you guys had the battle of the night, and Val had the round of the
Performance.
night. Y'all had the
I
best
need
battle
to
hands
catch
down
that.
that night. Oh, you ain't catch Val and Tylone?
I had to dip out to fly back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, he slaughtered him, bro. Straight slaughter,
Okay.
landslide,
That should be dropping
landslide.
hopefully soon though. I'll have to catch that.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully it should be dropping soon. I know they just dropped the poll just dropped Coach Coleon versus El Plaga today. That's up.
Yeah, saw that or didn't watch it, but I
That's
saw the
up right
notification.
now,
I'll have to
man.
run that one up.
Yeah, yeah. Go check it out, man. I was cameraman. I did that camera work for that.
Absolutely, salute, man. I have to definitely keep an eye on that one.
So right now, if you wanted to say a battle that you wanted, who you want to battle? Who you got on mind right now to say you'll love to go 3 rounds with right now?
Some names that stick out, or at least from where I feel would be good matchups. I like the short white guy from iBattle, JR. I like JR from iBattle. He nice. It's like I'm looking within my frame of where I currently stand. I feel like Shastafa would be a good battle. I respect him a lot. I feel
Where
like
you
that would be
from?
crazy. Shastafa from
Where you from?
Chicago. Yeah, Chicago.
Okay. We got some people over there, so we gonna try to see if we can make some things happen, man. Cause I started out with the battle thing about 10 years ago myself, putting battles together. Actually,
Okay.
Fly was my lead guy. Was our lead guy, Tyron Fly. He started out battle in the Capitol. That was over 10 years ago, and then we ain't keep up on it the way we should have. Then in the recent days, now we got OTR. Shout out to Poe. That's my boy right there. But
Salute.
definitely about to get my hands back into the field of the whole battle scene myself, because I grew up on hip hop, and like I said, as you can see, I'm around the best rappers in my city.
Absolutely.
I'm around the best. I know them all. Any, they really fuck with me. Like we connected here, so you connected
Yeah.
here. I think you've been taking out some time, man, and kick it with us, man. I'm about to run you around the studio, meet everybody, so you can have that on camera real quick too. Need all that footage. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We're gonna get back online, man. Man, definitely was a pleasure you pulling up tonight, man. Fucking with raw footage
Appreciate you for
films,
having
man.
me.
Shout out, man.
Shout
Yeah,
out, bro.
man. You already know what we doing, man. Now, man. Now, man,
Salute, man.
he Idaho, but he Trenton too. You know what I'm saying?
Second
Let,
home,
let, let
Trent,
me
New
just give you
Jersey.
some last shout out for the guys, man. Give you shout
Right
out to
on. I
guys before
appreciate
we
that,
take it
man.
on out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, they
absolutely.
there here getting ready, they here writing. Nah, man, no, man, about to sign off, about to be over.
Yo.
Man, big Uzi right there, bro. Raleigh done left the
Sure,
station.
yeah.
So yeah, man, you already know what it is, man. Go ahead and get your last shout outs to the people, man. We out of here, man. Raw for the spill, Big Drum, man, aka Big Boom.
Salute, y'all. Casket Company. Game365. Follow on Instagram at KASKET underscore A Game 365 on Instagram and A Game underscore 365 on Twitter. Salute to Raw Footage for having me.
Peace.